Hello, good morning. My name is Victor Valente Juarez Amaro. I am a student of the bachelor degree in the English teaching at the Benemérita Universidad Autónoma de Puebla, PUAP, in the Faculty of Languages. My thesis project is called Benefits of Using Theater Plays in the English Teaching in Public High School in Puebla, Mexico. My thesis advisor is Mario Alberto Gallardo Bonilla, professor at the same institution. So, well, in the first chapter of the investigation, it is found the introduction, the problem, and the justification. In the introduction, the subject is presented and how the teaching of English has increased in Puebla, especially in the community in which the project is applied, Santana Xalmimilco. In the introduction, it is shown that teaching strategies must already be modified since new generations have different points of view regarding learning language, in this case, English. That is why it is proposed to teach English through their plays. Okay. For the problem found within this investigation here is that theater as a teaching method brings is that the plays have not been implemented within the high school, and even in the community the theater is not very recognized. Likewise, the English classes within the school focus more on learning grammar, and the students only follow these learning methods. That is, they don't have critical thinking. The justification. The justification of the project is that theater as a teaching method brings benefits to the students to whom the project is applied, as well as training students who are thinkers, sensitive to art, and in this way, teachers can be promoters and pioneers of the methods of teaching teaching English through theater within the community. So this is so important because professors need to be more interactive and need to be more conscious about the new methods of teaching. Okay, here is the application that the project will take place at Colegio de Bachilleres del Estado de Puebla, Plantel 18, that is a preparatory school that is located in Santana Xalmimilco, Huejotzingo, Puebla. Okay. The general objective is to present a didactic proposal which is implemented as classes to then explain the benefits of teaching English. So this is the general objective, and the specific objectives are present a didactic proposal and implement theater plays in a public preparatory school or high school. The research questions. The first research question is, what is the strategy of teaching that is useful to teach English through theater plays? How implement the theater plays in the English class? And what are the benefits of using the theater plays for teenagers? Okay. The model on which I based the research project was qualitative, since this study requires an intervention, like here, that is to implement the method through classes. And for this, the method that I was choosing was action research, which in turn fits perfectly with my research, being this participatory, collaborative, uh, social, responsive, democratic, and most importantly, the participants examine their own educational practice. That is, they are reflective critics of their learning, which is related to the theory in the research is based on. Okay, so this is the method in which the project is based on. Okay, this is all related with the theory that I wanted to implement for my research. The theory in which the study is based is critical pedagogy. That comes from critical thinking that was originated in the Frankfurt School in the 19th century. Henry Uruch and Paulo Freire are the pioneers of critical pedagogy. However, the main author in this study is Gilles, who spoke of critical pedagogy in 1983. So this is this is so important because critical pedagogy focuses on the problems of inequalities within education, such as social class, race, and genre. For example, in this case, okay. It also encourages critical thinking of students. That is, as you said, teaching should make students to examine power structures and patterns of inequality. In theory classes, in the English theory classes, critical pedagogy is presented since within the classes, the students must be participatory, they must transform their learning through their critical thinking, that is, that they question themselves about their learning and about all the be human with their classmates. That means that they have to be humans with their classmates. That's some characteristics of the critical pedagogy: participation, communication, and humanization transformation. So this is so important for the critical pedagogy. In chapter number 2, we have units of analysis, theater, language skills, and of course the theory critical pedagogy that I've just explained. So for example, the first unit of analysis talks about what theater is. In this part, there are 3 theatrical strategies to implement them in the classroom, such as the improvisational approach, the improvisation games, and human slideshow. This in order to be studied and implemented within the theater English classes. Likewise, there are themes of drama, like here, and this is so important because in future English classes, the content of the drama must be implemented because students need to know what are they learning. So it contains about the plot of a story, what is the structure of a story, because they need to find them within the worksheets in which they are working. For example, on a theater plays, they must indicate what are the plot, what are the climax, what is the conclusion of this play. So, what else? Yeah. Then there are themes of dramas, as I said before. and how the theater in English teaching in the world is. For example, in this part, it is said that the theater as an English of teaching method was born in Great Britain in 1960. In the same way, there is a little talk about how theater is in the teaching of English in Mexico, and it is analyzed that it doesn't have so much study within the country, and that it is necessary to develop it as an official teaching method. Then we have the language skills. For example, speaking, writing, listening, and reading skill are presented here. For example, within which we mainly talk about how to implement them within the theater classes in the theater English class. Since the four skills are so important when learning a new language. In this case, the English language. Unfortunately, the theater uses the four skills equally. That is, in each class, the four skills are represented. For example, in a script, you have to read. So this is the first part of a script. When the students get a script, a written script, they have to read it. Then they have to speak it in front of the group, in front of an audience, or in front of another kind of audience. And then they have to listen it. For example, when students actors are acting in front of a group, the other students must listen them, and that is so important because they get more adequate the language. And at the end, they have to write. And how? By writing scripts by themselves. That could be short scripts. As a last point, just a moment, please. The last point is a conclusion that it is given about social inequalities within education in Mexico. This is in order to be related to my theory on which the study is based. The conclusion mainly talks about how education was during the pandemic caused by COVID-19, how public education suffered during this pandemic. Also, it talks about how public schools students have to adapt, and how the economic inequalities of public school students are different to those of private schools. This is in order to be aware that education in Mexico, especially in the area of the English language of public schools, is deficient, and how it should be improved. Well, these are my advances in my research. Later, I will implement it within the high school. Thank you very much. I appreciate your attention, and that's all for my presentation. Thank you so much.